Hi LinkedIn, it's Daniel Stephen here, the Executive Health Coach, and today's video I wanted to cover off the topic of sleep and the importance of it for general health and well-being, both physical and mental, but also its importance in relation to weight loss. So we all know when we have to get up in the mornings, we all know what time our alarm is set, but one thing we don't think about is ensuring that we're getting enough time of sleep. So one of the easiest ways of doing that is setting another alarm in the evening to remind us when we need to start getting ready for bed. So ideally, on average, people need between 7 and 9 hours sleep. Now I know a lot of you are thinking, I wish I could get 7 to 9 hours sleep. So if you have children, if you have young children and they don't have a good nighttime routine, I know that's going to make all of this a lot harder. But I'm talking about what the ideal is and what we need to be aiming for. So even if you can't get 7 hours, and you're only getting 5, try and get 5.5, try and get 6, try and get 6.5. Just try and push your sleep up to the minimum of 7 hours if you can. So, like I said, if you can think about when you have to wake up, count the 7 hours back. So, for example, I get up at 6 most mornings. That means I have to, at the latest, go to bed if I want 7 hours at 11. That means I also set my night alarm at 10 at the latest to remind me that I need to start getting ready for bed. So, bear in mind you need 7 hours. Try setting an alarm before bed to remind you that you need to start your nightly routine. That leads me into another point, which is creating a nightly routine. A lot of people will be working on emails, will be answering calls or answering work stuff from other people from around the globe. If you work with North America or South America, you've got to be answering their questions when they're up and it's our evening. Yeah, I totally get that. But the importance of giving yourself a break before bed cannot be stated enough. It is very, very important for sleep quality and quantity. So try and switch off an hour before bed at the ideal, half an hour at the least. And what that involves is no technology. The blue light that phones, tablets, laptops, TV screens emit messes up our circadian rhythm. It messes up our body's natural sleep patterns. So it's really important that we give our body as much opportunity to actually get ready for sleep as possible, rather than hindering it by using tech. So when you set your alarm an hour before you know you need to be in bed, then that should also signify when you stop using technology. Then you should try and create a routine of healthy habits that are going to help you fall asleep. So switching off by no tech, and then doing things like your nightly routine of washing and flossing, brushing your teeth, maybe showering, having a bath, stretching, meditating, chatting to your spouse, whatever it is. Try and do things that slow your brain down, that calm you down. But do it in a routine way, so that every evening you do the same thing, so that every evening, the more you do that routine, the more you get used to subconsciously the fact that that signifies and primes your body for sleep. Another thing to bear in mind is caffeine. Now, we all love our coffee and our tea and our caffeinated drinks, but what a lot of people don't realise is caffeine has a half-life of between 5 and 6 hours for the healthy average adult. So what that means is if you have a caffeinated drink at 2 in the afternoon, then at 8 in the evening, half of that caffeine is still circulating in your system. And there's a lot of caffeine in coffees nowadays, so it's something to bear in mind. I always suggest to my clients that they try and avoid consuming caffeine after midday. And if you're struggling with energy levels, that's something else entirely. You shouldn't be relying on caffeine to get you through the day. That either means your diet's poor or your sleep is poor. So caffeine, you can have it, but try and keep it to the AM, not the PM, so it doesn't affect your sleep. Another thing a lot of people do to help them sleep is consume alcohol. So when we have a glass of wine with dinner or we have a nightcap, as it were, it may feel like it's helping you fall asleep. And it does. It helps you pass out a lot quicker. It shortens the time from being awake to being asleep. But what it doesn't do is it doesn't help the rest of your sleep pattern, which is far more important. So when we do drink alcohol, it affects our entire night's sleep. We tend to sleep deeper, which on the surface sounds good, but it actually prevents us from getting REM or rapid eye movement sleep, which is when the brain recovers. So when we drink alcohol, we feel like we fall asleep quicker, which is nice, it's good. No one wants to lie in bed for hours trying to sleep. But the rest of our sleep will be poor in terms of quality. And that often will explain why you feel fatigued and drained the next day. even though you may have slept for 7 or 8 hours, the sleep quality wasn't there. So as tempting as it is to use alcohol to help you fall asleep, try to break that habit so that even though it might be harder to fall asleep, the time you are asleep, you're getting the benefits. Another thing to remember is the bedroom should be used for one of two things. One of them being sleep, and the other certainly isn't using technology. So try and remove all traces of technology from your bedroom. If you remove your phone, leave it in your office, leave it in another bedroom, leave it downstairs, or if you're in an apartment, leave it in the living room, wherever. Try and get into the habit of having all of your technology out of the bedroom. For one reason, is less temptation. So when you're struggling to sleep, you wake up in the middle of the night, if your phone is on your bedside table, the likelihood is you're going to reach over to check the time, and the next thing you'll know, you'll see app notifications, you'll see social media notifications. So by leaving it out of the bedroom, you're going to really reduce the temptation to be distracted. So next time you wake up, there's no phone, there's no tablet, there's no laptop to check, you're more likely to roll over and eventually go back to sleep. On top of that, it also is a distraction for the body having it in the bedroom. So it's really important to leave the tech outside. Use an old school alarm. They're a few pounds off Amazon, or you can buy one of those really fancy the morning lights where it wakes you up with light instead of sound. Whatever it is, it's better than having a phone as an alarm because, like I said, it's just too many of the distractions. So as a recap, the importance of quantity of sleep, you want to be aiming for between 7 and 9 hours. You want to be ensuring that you're not using tech before bed. You want to try and get in a habit of a good nightly routine that allows you to remember subconsciously that, I'm doing X, Y, and Z, this means it's bedtime. Try and reduce caffeine after midday to help with the sleep because of the half-life caffeine has. And remember that although alcohol may help you pass out and fall asleep, it doesn't help you have good quality sleep. And the last thing is try and remove tech from the bedroom so that you are less distracted. So I hope you find those tips helpful to improve your quality and quantity of sleep, because when we sleep, that's when the body recovers. So you might be training hard, you might be exercising really well, you might be really good with your diet, you might be eating clean, you might be doing the right things and not getting the results. It's most likely because your sleep just isn't cutting it. So bear those tips in mind, give it a go. If you have any questions, feel free to connect or shoot me a message or comment below the video and I'll be happy to get back to you. Also leave any feedback you may have. So pleasure talking to you. Hope you found this video helpful and have a great day, LinkedIn.